Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing Comic Uno's Best Comics of the Week. You might have noticed there's a new background. Wanted to do something different for the new year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully the lighting's better. Got some fun statues in the background. But yeah, let's get into this video. But before I start talking about my 7 books I got this week, of course, let me know your pick of the week, because at the end of the video, I do announce last week's pick of the week. So definitely want to hear what your thoughts were. Now, getting into the books here, like I said, it was kind of a lighter haul. There's even a book I said I was going to drop, but because it was such a light haul, I added it into the haul. So let's get into it. Number 7 for me is Outcast, issue 47. So this is the penultimate issue of the series, a series I've been kind of lukewarm with overall. I like the characters enough, obviously, to continue, but the plot does always feel a little wobbly to me, especially from a visual perspective. It's kind of an exorcist book. So to have something that is so, I guess, mentally charged, it's weird to see it try to be a physical power, and that's something that's always deterred me from the book. I also don't really care about the villain too much, and obviously that's a big highlight of this issue. It's the big battle, but it's them just in a circle holding hands, so it's not really that visually interesting. So that's definitely a letdown. There's also a couple of pages here that are just completely blank, for the sake of art, for the sake of the moment of the issue, but still, you're spending $5 on a book and you have 4 to maybe 6 pages where it's all just white and it's just like they're in a circle. So it's not the most interesting looking issue. I do think things get too ahead here with our characters, which is great, but nothing too crazy in my opinion that I felt particularly attached to. But for this book, what continues to be the best part is the artwork. So still enjoyed those moments. Even with the white pages, I did enjoy the artwork for this one. So giving that 2.5 stars, and that is number 7. Now moving on, let me get my iPad as well, even though I don't have that many books, so it's not like I have to keep count of too many. But yeah, number 6 for me is Batman White Knight Harley Quinn issue 3. This has been an okay book. It hasn't been as strong as White Knight, but I love Harley's voice. I really like the different vibe we're getting with the character. Definitely a more mellow vibe with the character, and we're seeing her go back to her basics. It's her being a psychiatrist, her now also working with the police, but there's some good twists and turns in this one as we learn a little bit more about the villain, a little bit more about her partner, who in the end actually is obsessed with Harley Quinn. So I'm like, okay, you kind of hooked me back in. And anytime Harley's on screen or Harley's in panel, I really enjoyed this book. But the overall mystery of this Hollywood glamour murder mystery, that's the part that kind of I'm less interested in, but I really enjoyed the artwork here. I like the small moments. I like seeing her as a mom. I like seeing her with her I guess a dog mom as well, with the hyenas, or cat mom, or whatever family that's in, dog mom. I like seeing that, and that's fun. And overall, giving this one 3 stars. The artwork is kind of similar to White Knight, a little less gritty, which definitely works for this. I really like the color palette of this book overall. So giving that number 6, and that is number 3. Well, giving that the 6th place, and I gave that 3 stars. Moving on to number 5, which is Spider-Woman issue 7, which I do feel was a stronger issue than issue 6. I wasn't particularly loving this space arc, but this one grounds a little bit into King in Black, so if you're following King in Black, it has a little bit of a tie-in. I don't think you necessarily need to pick this up if you're only following King in Black, but I thought this was a good emotional issue for Jessica, really going out of her mind in this issue, which was a lot of fun, and then seeing her friends try to literally take her off the edge and save her by also hitting her. So I like the emotional moments here, but the overall story, I just don't care about the virus. I do care about the emotional moments in that and how it's connected to her niece and son, but that still hasn't really connected to me, the actual virus aspect. And then we get to see I think Lady Octopus in the end, or maybe it was one of the Octavia. Is that Lady Octopus? I'm not sure. It's I think we actually saw that character in a previous issue. But anyways, one of the villains here, she shows up, says, "Hey, we have a lot in common." So we'll see, does she team up with this person or not. But like I said, I thought this was a stronger issue, but still not loving the overall plot here. So giving that 3 stars, and that is number 5. All right, moving on to number Actually, that was number 4. So we're moving on to... No, that was number 5. Moving on to number 4, which is King in Black, issue 2. So this is the book that I wasn't actually planning on getting just because, with this event, I'm not following Venom. So it's not a bad event by any means. I think it's well written. I think it's well drawn. But there was nothing that really sucked me personally in because I'm not following the series. But because it was so little comics this week, I'm like, all right, let me read King in Black, which I did. And overall, a pretty good issue. I enjoyed it. Does it scream at me to say, oh my God, I need to pick up issue 3? No, but I think it did give me a little bit more to want to pick up issue 3, because there are some good moments in this one with pretty much Eddie Brock dying. And what I like about this event thus far is how connected it is not just to Venom, but the other worlds and franchises within the Marvel Universe. So if you're following Fantastic Four, you get some good vibes there. You even get to see Namor appear in this. I love seeing Valkyrie in this issue. So I like seeing characters and mentioning what's been going on in their world. So that's definitely my favorite part. And then, yeah, what's going to happen to Eddie Brock? What's going to happen to his son? That's all kind of the Venom stuff and related to Venom. I like seeing Spider-Man here because, of course, if you have a Venom event, you want to see Spider-Man. So artwork also is really haunting and really works for this apocalyptic world that's going on. So I give this 3.5 stars. I thought it was pretty good. Again, does it scream at me to say, oh my God, I'm going to follow the rest of the series? I don't know. I'll still get a couple of tie-ins, and it'll really depend on how big my haul is when issue 3 comes out, because I'm getting a lot of books in January with getting all the issue 1s for Future State, so it really depends how big my haul is to see if I'll get that next issue. So moving on to number 3, which is Scumbag issue 3. I've been really enjoying this series. It's just been such a fun ride. I do think the dialogue was a little shaky here at times, but I love the overall story. It's our main character, our Scumbag, who he likes to shine anything. He sees this bomb, he's gonna use it selfishly, and then, his powers are activated by being unselfish, and he's still working for this government group that is the complete opposite of him, and really is kind of annoyed at him at this point. So I really like the thematics of this issue, and really the so diverse butting heads of the, I guess, 2 groups of characters. And there's some really fun moments here, or crazy moments here, where all his friends from the bar end up turning into gold. So there's a lot of kind of big moments in this as well. Again, there's times where it felt a little long, especially some of the government-y stuff, and even the villain versus hero moment. Some of the dialogue kind of fell flat for me, but I definitely enjoy this series, and I love seeing where this is going to go, because it's just off its rocker and such a fun character piece to kind of dive into and world to dive into. And the artwork is so good for this book as well. So many great facial expressions, from the joy that we get to see our main character have when he's doing coke to some of the great fighting sequences here. So giving that 3.5 stars, and that is number 3. Moving on to number 2, which is The Amazing Spider-Man issue, what are we up to? Issue 54 LR. I am as surprised as you are to see this so high for this week. Now, of course, there weren't a lot of books this week, so I feel like that's why it's in my top 5. But I actually thought this was a better issue than what we've been getting with Spider-Man. It was a little bit better balanced. I wouldn't say it's perfectly balanced, but it was a little better. And really what got me is the Mary Jane moments. We get to see this old book. We get to see an old back issue kind of open up this issue with a couple of pages. And it's Mary Jane being kidnapped by Harry. And I definitely have read this issue. I don't know if I've read it like of the original comic or from a trade, but I definitely have read that issue. I'm like, okay, cool. That's kind of a cool flashback. And then we get into the present of Norman tricking MJ to try to talk to Harry and kind of talk him down towards the ledge as well, or, off the ledge. And we get a cliffhanger that Norman has a bigger plan. He's working with the Kingpin. And there's some good moments there. There also are some good twists between Sin Eater and the other spider heroes, the other spider family. I was kind of surprised by it because I haven't really been liking that arc overall. But I like that Sin Eater gets the abilities of Julia Carpenter and gets to see the future. And we get a little glimpse of Mary Jane and Peter having to have dinner with Harry. So there's some really good moments to look forward to. Artwork was really solid as well, especially to see the contrast between the old Mary Jane book that we had to now to the present. So overall, I actually thought this was a pretty well-balanced issue, and I hope we get to see this momentum continue into issue 55 when it's not just the LR base, which is more based onto the supporting characters. So giving that number 2, and like I said, I gave that 3.5 stars. Moving on to my pick of the week this week, which was Family Tree issue 10. So Family Tree, been loving this book, and this was a pretty good point A to point B issue. We definitely get some good present moments and future moments. So we get to see one of our main characters, the narrator, and his son, his wife and child, and just like how post-apocalyptic world is working then, everyone older. And we've seen this future in the past, but now we're actually seeing how him and his future wife meet, and I thought that was really cool, and just seeing how this post-apocalyptic world is growing, what Meg's role is within this post-apocalyptic world as well. We have a pretty good cliffhanger where Meg kills people with her tree branches, so it's definitely a good action issue, a good character moment, good character-driven issue, so just a overall well-balanced issue that I really enjoyed. So giving that one 4 stars, and that's my pick of the week. And the viewer's pick of the week this week was We Live issue 3, which I've been hearing a lot of great stuff about, and here are some comments about that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Definitely let me know in the comments below what was your pick of the week this week, so you guys have an opportunity to be featured. Go check out my Twitter and Facebook. Go check out my comics like Father Like Daughter and They Call Her a Dancer. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time is also our comic book podcast on Comic Frontline, so be sure to check that out as well. Thanks, guys. Bye.